Chris Waller joins us for another weekly update on the stable. 3 winners last Saturday in town. Chris, got to be happy with that. And as you've just seen in the vision prior to the filming starting, some of the babies were out this morning having a look around the track. What were they up to today?
They actually did a bit of 3/4 pace work this morning just to zip up the straight. It's the most they've done so far, and just an exciting time of the year, closing in on the end of the season. But we've got a lot of new horses coming into the stable, which are mainly yearlings, and obviously the carnival horses are on their way back. Already Sacred Falls and Shootout are back in the stable.
Looking towards obviously this weekend, after one winner yesterday at Canterbury, the record of 156 winners, metropolitan winners, is now within reach, only 3 away. You'll be in Brisbane on Saturday, they tell me. How's business class these days on Qantas going up to Brisbane?
I don't know, Liam. But if we were getting down to 2, I was keen to stay because it's something we're certainly looking forward to as a team. But obviously it's a final Group 1 day of the season in Queensland, so we've got 2 good chances, and She's Clean and Red Tracer. Red Tracer's drawn awkwardly with barrier 16, similar to last start, which she managed to overcome, but at some stage her luck would run out from those wide draws, so hopefully it's another gem of a ride from Nash. She's Clean's got barrier 4, Jason Collett aboard after he's ridden her so well in the last 2 starts. She should get a bit of luck from that gate, and hopefully she can take the next step up to Group 1 level.
Of the other runners at Brisbane on the day, you've got Thumbtacks in the Tattersalls Mile.
Yeah, he's been out of form, Liam. It's just a matter of getting him out of the barriers and racing him up closer to the speed. I still think he's racing well enough, but he's leaving himself too big a task. So Jason's also on him. He knows the horse well, and hopefully we can get him up in the first 5 because it's the right race for him.
And Riva de Lago just missed out on a start in the Stradbroke. You've decided to take him to the Healy Stakes at Group 3 level.
Yeah, it's a nice race for him. I think he's pretty well suited at the weights. Just hope that the weather doesn't close in for him. He needs a dead track at worst. He's also got an awkward barrier, but his racing style is to get back, so hopefully it's not too much of a disadvantage.
With a horse like him, obviously he had the run at Scone, but he was resuming there off a freshen up. Do you have to change his training regime around now that you've missed a run in the Stradbroke, so to speak, and you've had to find another alternative for him?
Not really. He was wound up ready to run in the Stradbroke, so he was ready to go, so to speak. It's just a matter of maintaining that fitness and probably not doing too much, which I think is a trap that we often fall into.
Alright, going to Sydney, good team of runners in again this Saturday. Racing heads to Randwick, 2 runners in the first, the 2600 metre event. Secessio, who's obviously a dual acceptor, also entered for Melbourne, and Black Jag.
Secessio, it's most likely he'll run up here. I think he'll appreciate a wetter track, which I think it'll be at Randwick. Distance shouldn't be a problem, although we haven't tried him over it. His runs in Melbourne have been very good. He's still in Melbourne at the moment. He'll come up Thursday night and get here early hours Friday morning, and hopefully that's enough time to get him relaxed and ready to run well on Saturday. Black Jag, well, I think we pretty much know 2600 metres is beyond him, but I think he's racing in career best form. He was game in defeat last start, and he handles wet tracks, so I think it's a moderate field for this time of the year, and therefore deserves his chance at $85,000 prize money.
And the 2-year-old fillies, Mademoiselle, she obviously bounced back into a little bit of form last start after being disappointing first up.
Yeah, I think she must have got a tongue over the bit at Scone, so last start we had the tongue tie on, and that did help her run better. I think ultimately she'll be a much better 3-year-old, but she's obviously ready to go, and obviously runs on Saturday, and hopefully it's a good chance to pick up some prize money before going for a break.
Balavan, he's mixed and matched his form so far this preparation. He takes his place in the 1200 metre winner dash.
Yeah, it's a tough race. He's a very hard horse to place with a high rating. You put him down a class and he gets very, very big weights, or you put him up in class and he's probably up against some horses slightly better than himself. So hopefully he can reproduce his best form, and it would see him be competitive in this race.
The 3-year-old event, Triple Fortune, takes his place over the 1400 metres. Probably been a touch disappointing this prep.
Yeah, he has. He's a handy horse. I think he'll be a Saturday class horse, but yeah, he's just been a touch disappointing. 3 wet tracks, maybe a bit unfit first up as well. If it was going to be a heavy track on Saturday, I'd probably scratch and wait for an easier event.
We've got the nice German fellow in the race 6, the 1400 metre event, Egglestein. He was impressive first up on a wet track. He looks a major player on Saturday.
Yeah, as he was first up last preparation as well, Liam. Over an unsuitable trip this time in, over 1200, he got home very well and steps up to 1400 metres on Saturday. Drawn well, a game we've claimed with Alicia Collett, and I think it's the right race for him, and he appears to handle wet tracks, which is an advantage at this time of the year.
The last race of the card over the mile, we've got 4 runners, Fulgur, Pipette, Done Nothing Wrong and Sacred Flyer. Fulgur seems to be the leading chance on paper. Obviously hasn't finished outside of the placing since coming to Australia, which is a remarkable feat.
It is for their first preparation, and he looks to have a great future ahead. And I think later in the spring he'll be competitive in some listed and group races. He's also in Melbourne and coming up with Successio tonight. He's done very well down there, winning his last 2 starts at Flemington over 1700. I think the distance on Saturday will suit. Looking at his form in England, he does have some form on a heavy track, which is pleasing to note. And he certainly looks a horse on the rise. So hopefully he's got one more good run in and then a spell on Monday.
Of the others, obviously Pipette, she stakes place this preparation.
Yeah, I don't think as effective on a heavy track. We saw her run at Random last start, which I think was a lot better than the track, than the rating they gave it out as, and it raced more like a heavy track, so that's a concern. We may even scratch her. Might send her to Melbourne for a race at the Fillies and Mares race, that I think should be well suited to next Saturday over a mile. So if the track conditions don't suit, look out for him in Melbourne next Saturday.
And Done Nothing Wrong. He's a horse that showed a lot of ability and then had a long period of time off through injury. It obviously was very satisfying to get him back in the winner's circle so quickly after returning. Will he take his place on Saturday?
We're still tossing up whether we run him or not. I think he handles a slow track, but my biggest concern is with the horses that have had injuries, suspensories or tendons such as him, is that you can do damage on those types of track. You may think hard tracks are the ones that break horses down, but it's actually the heavy tracks that put a horse under a lot of stress, and it seems to be when they get tired that their injuries can occur. So we're wary of that. We've finally got him back in good shape, and although it's frustrating to have a good horse at its peak ready to race, you've sometimes got to overlook that and make sure that you've got longevity in the back of your mind. So we'll make a decision Friday afternoon as to whether he runs. He might have to wait for a couple of weeks for the next suitable race, or have a short time in the paddock, or just kill some time in the stable until mid-August when the tracks do improve.
And Sacred Flyer probably in a similar boat, returning from a long layoff where he finished off a campaign, nearly 18 months ago with a couple of wins on the board.
Very much so. He handles these types of tracks, and he's probably going to need Saturday's run, so I do need to start him off somewhere. So we'll probably run him. We haven't booked a rider for him yet, but it's likely we'll claim off him with a nice lightweight. And it'll be good to see him back second or third up once he gets up over 2,000 metres.
Now, obviously, with a stellar season, there's been 8 Group 1s, looking towards hopefully getting 9 on Saturday, an all-time record, which may never be broken again. How do you celebrate at the end of the season? A slab of KB lager and some hot chips, or what are we up to?
No, nothing changes much. It's quite it's a very long season of racing in Australia, and I guess that's the only downside. It's just 52 weeks in a year, and our team just goes very hard for that period. And then straight away, 1st of August, the good horses start racing, or the carnival horses start racing again, or need to be prepared for their carnivals. So it's very much business as usual. But it's good to note that you've got a good team behind you, and you've got some good results on the board. You take a lot of satisfaction out of that.
Thanks, mate. Enjoy the weekend.
Thanks, Nick.